All right, thank you so much for joining us on our special annual Bluesfest Review Show. My name is Nick Bachewski from Lunch Out Loud, Ottawa. It is the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that Ottawa has to offer. And of course, leading up to Bluesfest, we featured almost every single local act, which we always try to do, to try to get more people out there during Bluesfest to support our local acts. And so first I'm going to introduce our other panelists today. We have many of the same as last year, plus Benjamin this year from the review, so I'm very excited about that. But why do a review show? Well, I think my main reason for wanting to do this is because of going to this festival from 5 p.m. on or noon on the weekends every single day and only seeing people go there at 7, 8 p.m. and enjoying the major large acts when in actual fact, so many incredible things are going on at 5, 6 p.m. So until those are full, I'm going to keep doing this kind of stuff. Until it's packed for our local acts, I'm going to keep wanting to do this sort of review show. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. So first we'll introduce our panels with about their blogs, about what they do in the city, why they do it, and then we're going to talk about our thoughts on the changes to this year's festival. We're going to talk about our top 5 acts, which pretty much is the hardest thing to do. Our top local acts, any other interesting stories that we might have that we experienced during the festival, as well as thoughts for next year. So first, to my right, Matthias from Ottawa Showbox.
Yes, I'm Matthias from Ottawa Showbox. I started Ottawa Showbox a few years ago, basically out of frustration that there weren't too many blogs in the city. I'm here with the others that do a great job at covering stuff and making sure that the local scene gets heard and exposed. So a lot of good music in town, and me and my friends that run the blog with, we're having the best time. So yeah, really happy to be here.
And the website?
It's www.ottawashowbox.com.
Perfect. To my left, Ellie.
Hi, so I'm Ellie from Eventful Capital. Thank you for having me here today, Nick, to talk about Bluesfest and recap this year's amazing festival. Eventful Capital was started essentially in November 2011 to promote what is happening here in our local cultural scene. I was frustrated, as Matthias said, and tired of hearing people say that Ottawa is a boring place and comparing it to Toronto and Montreal, when really the city has lots to offer. So I took it upon me to cover our local cultural scene. So yeah, I promote upcoming events and I review events that I attend as well.
And you do a lot in Gatineau, and you do a lot.
I do.
And you do a lot more hip hop as well. That.
Sure, if you'd like to.
I noticed that's where I get a lot of my hip hop news.
Awesome, cool.
And I like it that
Yeah.
way. And the website or the Facebook?
So you can find me on Twitter, on Facebook at Eventful Capital, and the website itself is www.eventfulcapital.wordpress.com.
There we go. And to her left, Benjamin.
So I'm Ben. I'm with the review. We're probably the new kid on the block. We've only been around for 11 months. We take a little bit different philosophy where we are focusing on local music, but also independent bands from outside the region. So we're looking abroad, across the globe, as a means to kind of connect people with the different kind of music that's going on.
So connect people from, like, in Ottawa with the other.
That's right. So whether it's in Brazil or in France or Australia, it's trying to extend that reach.
Wonderful. And the website for?
So our website, so we're the review, spelled REVUE, so you can find us at www.therevue.ca.
And I like that there's so many, they might be similar local blogs, but until, like I said at the beginning, until we are packing every local show up and we're getting money into our amazing local artists' hands and they're winning every single award across the country for music, I don't care. I love that there's so many people reporting this. It just shows that there's a lot of love for the music. All right, so let's start on thoughts on changes to this year's festival. As we were introduced when the first day we were there, they closed off leading up to the museum for the first time ever. Your thoughts? What did you think? They closed off the road to put the screen that you could just hang back and watch the screen on on Vimy Ridge Road. What did you think?
I thought it was great just to have access. You didn't have to always scan out or have your bags checked. Just convenience.
Yeah, that was definitely easier.
And having the two stages at opposite ends, I think, worked.
That was newer. They pushed the second
stage.
the Claridge stage back right up to the road and spread it out. So you didn't notice any drain in sound?
No, actually, not really. I think it created less havoc in crowds at the vendors.
Yeah.
Whereas the last 2 years, it just packed.
BB King was the
That was
classic
the biggest
example.
BB King, I think, was
That
the
was,
one that changed everything
Yeah,
for that.
definitely.
Do you think, because some of the shows were packed on the Claridge stage, and that's where the food vendors were, do you think it inhibited some of the sales towards the food vendors? I tried looking a few of the nights, and it did look like people wouldn't go deep into the food vendors because it did look a little packed. Do you think they might make changes to that in the future?
I think that spreading them out a little more wouldn't be a bad idea. I find them very concentrated along the Claridge main stage. There's a couple at the river stage as well, which is great. But having diversifying the offer a little more across the site, I think would be a good way to space out the crowds as well.
I think possibly more on the
Black
road
Sheep
or the
and-
road as
Or
well.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, I
why
was
not?
thinking that
If
too. 'Cause
they-
there wasn't a lot of traffic in front
On
of
the
that
road.
one beer tent in the screen. So I mean, that's
Utilize
an
the space there, and
Yeah.
spread more people out so they're closer to the stage
Right.
because that blocked more people off from the stage. So I guess that's
Yeah.
thoughts on next year, but I like that. But I did like that you were free to walk throughout the museum
Yeah.
if you wanted to catch a breather. Air conditioning, it was good there. So I like that. Other thoughts? The bike parks, yet again, we had the two entrances pretty close to each other. I thought that was excellent. Another awesome year of the bike parks. It looked like it must be getting larger in size because it looked way
Yes.
larger than last year. So, and I used it every single day. And I know Charles runs the volunteer tent for the bike park.
Yeah.
They're doing a phenomenal job.
I think that it's definitely a huge, hugely underappreciated thing because I think
Absolutely.
it probably prevents so much traffic,
Yeah.
and it's a lot safer too. You know, I think keeping people's bikes in that area prevents stolen property. It keeps things organized, keeps people kind of encouraged to keep riding their bikes there, and it's such a central location that there's no reason why you can't ride your bike there.
And
No, yeah.
And it's part of that green effort too that
Yeah.
the Bluesfest is known for. You know, they have a lot of initiatives in that sense regarding the environment. So I think having that bike park is a nice addition to that.
And speaking of green initiatives, the green team always
Wow.
unbelievable. And just hearing like the leader of the green team, I don't know who it is, but they're so motivated every single year, and they're working so hard. I love watching that, and they're there at 11 p.m. getting ready to clean up everything. It is awesome to see. They are troopers.
Yeah.
It's weird. If you hang around after a show at one of like the River Stage, for example, I remember seeing July Talk and then hanging out. We were actually talking to the band for like a few minutes after the show. And I turned around and like it was all clean, and I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
how did that happen?"
Yeah.
In like 10 minutes, like 15 minutes. So yeah, they do a great job, and I think that we can all say that the festival wouldn't be what it is without the volunteers.
All the volunteers in
Yeah.
general.
They-
They thank you.
Yeah, they
Congrats
deserve
to
they
every one of
deserve
you.
all the credit. Like it's a hugely important thing for the festival in Ottawa. So.
I do, and I love volunteering every year, and I will
Yeah, likewise.
continually doing it every single year. So, any other things, changes to this year's festival? There wasn't, other than that, it did get a lot more corporate, I found, on the fort
Yes.
area.
Lots of sponsors.
There are lots
presence.
of sponsors. This is a very friendly and very encouraging podcast. So we don't like to. I don't like talking too bad because I know that I try to think that what they're doing, they want to limit that, but they do it anyway. But
Yeah, one of the things I thought was they had the local acts going against each other
Yes.
for time slots, which
a few of them, yeah.
which is understandable. It wasn't too bad, but there were a few. For example, Black Denim and Kel Matson.
Yeah.
I love both those bands. They're like probably some of the best bands in Ottawa. And yeah, exactly. And so you kind of have to split your time. But you know what? On the other hand, I'd rather have them both play than choose one or the other.
Right.
So yeah, it's a bit of a problem, but there was a pretty good crowd for both of them when I went, so I guess that's a good thing.
Beautiful. All right, so we were just talking about local acts and how they could be spaced out a little better. And and what were you going to say, Benjamin, on that wavelength?
Well, this year there were 32 acts. I mean, over 10 days. Of course, they have our local bands. They have jobs too. So when they're available, that figures into the schedule. But I want to just make a comment on the corporate issue.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot more kind of, if you want to say, corporatism there. It's kind of a trade-off, right, for us, where they're trying to be a non-profit. The Bluesfest, they're trying to keep costs down, and to do that, you got to find other sources of revenue, and so you have to bring in sponsors.
Yeah, and that's a topic for other things. And I've been thinking. I was just reading about another music festival, Moog Fest in the United States. I was just looking over their financials, and that's not going to happen anymore because they try to go without a corporate route. And I just looked at all their financials. They're probably not going to be able to run next year. So you do have to weigh that kind of stuff. So, whatever. It is what it is.
It is.
It is what it is. Okay, so let's go over top 5 acts because this is always fun to listen to. I always have a lot of fun listening to this. So, Matthias, do you want to lead us off?
Sure.
And at the end, we're going to play a song leading into their number one act that they had.
Sweet. Should I start from number 5?
There we go.
Okay, my 5th. Well, actually, I'm speaking on behalf of me and my fellow bloggers that are writing with Ottawa Showbox. So I didn't actually see all these bands, but I've seen most of them at some point or another. So Mac DeMarco's number 5. He released his second album, Salad Days.
It's just shortlisted today.
Just to say that.
By the way, I just want to get in there. Did anybody else watch the shortlist announcement today?
No.
So Jay Burchell hammered at 11 o'clock in the morning.
He was so.
He was messed up.
It was awesome.
That was messed up, but it was awesome. Sorry.
He had to do it. He had to say it again really slowly.
And he still didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
That was really awkward. But
I don't know
funny.
how that happened. But number 4 for me is, or for us, is Violent Femmes. I was not there that day, but Eric was covering it, and yeah, classic band. They have their one song everybody knows, "Blister in the Sun," but they're actually that whole album is incredible, and they're a really good brand, a really great band. St. Vincent's number 3. She was at Jazz Fest last year with David Byrne, because they have an album together. But her on her own, she's just getting all the respect she deserves, and her new album is really, really awesome. Second for me, July Talk. This band is one of the best up-and-coming bands in Canada, and really exciting to watch live. And first for me was Queens of the Stone Age, because they are, they have been one of my favorite bands for over a decade, and they are, that was my first time seeing them live, so it was like a amazing experience for me. So
all right, so we'll just play one song that he chose from July Talk, and we'll be right back.
For me. Well, it must be hard to be a pretty girl. Yeah, it must be hard to watch your body growing old. And I'll be laughing in your head until I want to stop.
Anyways, July Talk is awesome, and I'm so sad I missed that show as always. I was working that night.
Half of it, but it was amazing. Just the whole dynamics that they have on stage. That alone.
And I hear from my friend Arn all the time. He's always promoting them, and they're awesome. They were at the same time as Bare Naked Ladies and Ryan Hemsworth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I thought Ryan Hemsworth was the best DJ I saw the whole festival.
For sure.
That was such great stuff.
Even better than Kid Koala?
No,
Kid
but
Koala
that doesn't
for
count
Deltron?
because it was for Deltron.
I didn't know he was for Deltron.
He's awesome.
Was
But
he?
just the Kid Koala set is mind-blowing to see. But
He is awesome.
as part of
DJ
Deltron,
champion.
Yeah.
So we'll go with my top 5, which I had so much hard time. I'm going with top 6, Break the Mold, because I forgot Queens of the Stone Age.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention, Queen of the Stone Age. Number 5, Bombino, which was at the same time as your boys,
Cypress Hill.
I got an anonymous tip to go see Bombino, and sure enough, that was mind-blowing. I can't wait to see them again. Number 4, Bad Bad Not Good, Friday at 6 p.m. I don't know how they played that early when it was a homecoming for the bass player, when they're huge across the world now as such a great jazz band. Number 3, Trombone Shorty.
Excellent. Excellent.
Playing on the river stage, so much excitement, so much action, everybody dancing, and not enough people there, so it was great. Number 2, Gary Clark Jr. I saw him before at Coachella, saw him here, and he didn't disappoint. It was, you're watching Jimi Hendrix. My favorite thought was when he just finished a 10-minute song with 2 incredible solos, walking out for Blake Shelton. Let's be honest, I love that people love country music, but I wasn't there for country music. But to hear Footloose and just to see the crowd and go, oh, I wish you guys all could have seen the future Jimi Hendrix, because I think in 20 years people are going to be thinking about Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah.
and thinking, wow, I wish we would have seen him in Ottawa. So, and number 1, Vintage Trouble. I got a tip the morning that they were playing saying that I had to go there. And so we're going to play one clip from Vintage Trouble. This song is Total Strangers. If they come back to Ottawa, make sure you're there. They're touring with The Who. They have awesome shows on, or awesome YouTube clips on David Letterman and The Who.
Baby, get over here. Stop acting like a teenage child. Let's make something disappear. Like rapid fire burning wild.
I met Jay Leno, so whatever. It's all good. I hope you enjoyed Vintage Trouble. So, Ellie, top 5. Let's hear it.
All right. It's a bit hard to put them in order. This was a difficult exercise for me. I have to start by honorable mentions. I'm going to say Groenland. They're an orchestral indie pop band from Montreal. They played on the last day on Sunday. Unfortunately, it was raining, so there weren't a lot of people to see them. But
It's a
they're
light drizzle.
excellent.
A light
It
drizzle.
was whatever, yeah.
It was a nice drizzle.
The
They were
hardcore
excellent.
festival goers were there.
Yeah.
So they were really, really good. And also Jake Bugg, who's an amazing, the guy is 18, 19 years old from Britain, and he sounds phenomenal live. So I'm glad I got to see him. Honorable mentions aside, I'm going to say Matt Anderson and the Mellotones.
Oh, man.
At,
I hated missing that.
Number
on
5.
Saturday, yeah.
They were excellent. Matt Anderson puts all of his heart into his music, and hearing him live is just beautiful.
That
So I
rendition-
caught him at Folk Fest last year. He was playing solo last year.
Yeah.
And that's when I first saw him, and right away I was mesmerized by him, and this year was just even
Was
better.
Little Help
with
from My
Mellotones.
Friends?
Yes.
Oh, he
at the
played
end.
it?
Cocker version of the
Yep.
Beatles song?
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
it's just like...
Yep, I
Oh,
cried.
I felt like I
have
was
to say.
at Woodstock. It was so
Oh, man.
When music gets to me live, like I
There's
shed
a video
tears,
of it.
and that
Check
was
it
one
out.
of those.
Okay, we'll check
Oh
that
my
out.
God.
There is a
Yeah,
video
you
of that
have to.
online? Okay.
Yeah. So Matt Anderson, after that, so that was number 5, but really, then again, no particular order. Cypress Hill, I'm a big hip-hop head, so
Yeah.
for me, seeing them live was an amazing experience. I was front row, so it doesn't really get much better than that. Crowd was rowdy, and it was just an all-around good time. As you said, Gary Clark Jr., for me, number 3. I didn't know him. I had been recommended by a friend to go see him as the upcoming next Jimi Hendrix, like you said
Did
earlier.
you know his name by the end of the night?
I did. Oh, sure did. Yeah, I knew the lyrics to the songs too. I was sold. So that was
that was
a
phenomenal.
big highlight for me.
I missed it.
Great first night.
Yeah. For the blues, that was touche. Vintage Trouble, like you said. So I have Vintage Trouble in second place, but really they could easily be number 1. They have an incredible stage presence, so much energy. Their liveliness.
It's like
is-
watching the
it's
1950s.
amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, soul, funk, and you just can't help but dance. You can't stand still.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that they were on at the same time as Lady Gaga, which attracted a ridiculous crowd, and I couldn't care less for her personally. So I went there, checked Vintage Trouble, and had one of the best times ever.
So I went the next day. Which stage was he on the first night?
The first time, the
Was he on
Lady
River?
Gaga night was on Black Sheep stage,
Okay.
and so he jumped off stage, the lead singer,
Okay.
ran up the hill during that Run,
Yeah.
River Run song, trying to get people up and dancing, and it was just
And he
a grand
gets
old time.
everybody up. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of crowd
I love
interaction. I like that. And finally, I have to say Bonobo, an electronic music DJ producer. He was accompanied by a live band. It was on the river stage, and it was really magical.
It
The
was.
sun was setting, the music was just splendid, and
The one song he does by himself when he plays 3 instruments, my God.
yeah. So
That is hard to
definitely
beat.
Bonobo.
That song is unbelievable.
So we can listen to some.
Let's listen to one song from
Bonobo?
Bonobo. This is MK. Cave from Bonobo. I love that. I love that show. And that's a
Chopper.
That's a chopper. All right, Benjamin, let's go your top 5. I know you didn't. You were doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We're going to hear some stories from you shortly. But what were your top 5?
So I'll do 6.
Okay,
Since everyone
great.
else has kind of gone 8 or 10. Definitely July Talk Show. I mean,
Yeah.
just the energy. Probably one of the better Ottawa crowds I've seen in a little while. Very
They really
energetic,
embrace
very-
Ottawa.
Yeah, they're very engaging.
Yeah.
They made for a great show. Just the chemistry on stage, obviously. We'll hear more about it later. So.
But she didn't get her face busted by his guitar this time.
No.
Really?
One of the first shows they played in Ottawa, Peter's guitar smashed Leia in the face, and she was bleeding all
Nope.
over. So-
She's hardcore.
They are.
Next one would have to be Thornetta Davis. She's out of
Oh,
Detroit.
yes. Yeah.
Kind of a blues rock sound, just a fabulous voice, very underrated, underappreciated. When you're able to get the older crowd on their feet and dancing, you're doing
Really?
you're doing your
Are
job.
they lawn chairs?
Yeah.
That's great.
Next one would be Bombino. I saw Bombino last year at Newport. Had to see him again.
Really?
And I thought this show was actually much better than his Newport set. One was a little later. Two, it was a really good crowd too, very appreciative. One of the things I actually lament from the Bluesfest this year was there wasn't a lot of that Afrobeat or African influence music this year. A lot less.
Did you catch Long Shendao from Beijing, China?
No, because I was probably running around.
That was a really interesting. I really like that as well.
My friend did go, and
Agreed.
he said it was really cool.
That was really cool. Even though I didn't understand any of the lyrics.
The universal language of music.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Next would be the Districts in a Theater, a little young Pennsylvania band. 4 guys who are 19 and 20 who sound like they're in their 30s. And with a terrific live show. If you're fans in terms of live shows of My Morning Jacket or even the Drive-By Truckers and the energy that they bring to the stage, think of that. But they're 19 and 20.
That's incredible.
Lucius would be the next
Oh, they're
one.
great.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
I skipped out St. Vincent's show to see them in a theater,
Okay.
thinking this is probably the only time they're going to play this small of a venue. Very intimate, and it was an opportunity. That was a fabulous show.
I have to
Yeah.
agree.
And they played the next day on the
They
river
played
They
stage.
They played that
They actually
day?
played the same day.
Oh, yeah, they did the
In the
river stage in the
afternoon.
day, and then they played at night.
They played in the afternoon. and then
That's
they
right.
played in
2
the-
sets in the same day. Yeah.
I saw them at Tequila Bookworm in Toronto at North By last year, and that was small. It's like a little tiny cafe, and they just energize the room with emotion. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So they're your number one.
And then number one would
sorry.
be Gary Clark Jr.
There we go.
Saw him 2 at
Come on.
Newport.
Gary Clark Jr. wins the day because he
Yeah, I
got
think
2
you're
number
right.
2s and
They
number 1. So it looks like Gary Clark Jr. was the band of Bluesfest. So we're going to listen to one song, Ain't Messing Around. And next time Gary Clark Jr. comes to Ottawa, make sure you're there. All right. So
Don't let me down.
So that brings us into, that was Gary Clark Jr., that brings us into top local acts. So, Tias, what did the crowd at Ottawa Showbox go with?
This is a tough one because
It's a very tough one.
we
It's
love-
choosing your best kid.
like all the bands from Ottawa pretty much are amazing that were at Bluesfest, and we had a tough time choosing. But I guess let's just call this a list.
Yeah.
It's not top.
Oh, yeah, it's not
just from me personally. Cale Matson was he was nominated for the Polaris long list. Didn't make the short list.
Unfortunately.
He got a great review on his new album, Someday the Moon Will Be Gold, on Pitchfork, which is
Where is he
awesome.
today? He's in Austria or something?
Yep, they're touring Europe right now.
Yep.
I think full band. pretty sure. And they have a great following in Europe, which is awesome. If you do, like, follow his Instagram or Facebook, because he posts awesome pictures, and they just seem to have a great time there.
Did he get a good crowd out?
Yeah, it was like at probably 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon.
It was 2, yeah.
One of those early shows, and there were probably 50 or 70 people there, and we had a great time. It was a lot of fun, and they sounded amazing. So they're up for big things in the future for sure.
So go see them.
Yeah.
For it. And who else from your from Ottawa Showbox?
Aimless and Transparent,
Yep,
always
that was a lot of fun.
Always a crowd pleaser. That was the first band I saw at Bluesfest this year. They were on the first day.
Yep.
And huge following in Ottawa, well deserved. They're a lot of fun. They did a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, one of those things for their new album. And it was a huge success. So looking forward to hearing that. Boyhood is always.
That was a very short set. She went on a little later because didn't want to fill that out.
I didn't actually.
She was really good. I liked it.
I didn't actually see that one. That was one of the other boys.
Eric was there.
Yep.
Something there.
But they're great as always. Good to see them on the big stage. Shannon Rose and the Thorns. I've heard her play acoustic before at the Born One sessions a few years ago, and was really impressed. But to hear her, they're part of the Canadian Women's Songwriter showcase at the Barney Dancing Theatre, and that was like just the sound that they produced. Steven's guitar, Shannon's voices. I feel like they've improved a lot. They are obviously practicing a lot, and just great songwriters. So yeah, definitely check them out.
I see great things from Shannon Rose and the Thorns for sure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a few honorable mentions too. Jonathan Becker in the Northfields. This guy's like pretty much a legend of the punk scene here. Like, he's got a couple bands, Deadweights, and his more folky side is Northfields. This guy's got one of the coolest voices you'll ever hear. So definitely check them out. And then, Scattered Clouds, Silken Lawman, Atherton, Tinderbox.
Now you're just naming them
Pit.
all. Come
no,
on,
they're all.
Showbox.
They all gotta. We
know.
It
We all
just
got love
sucks.
for them.
It just sucks that you made me choose 5.
Yeah, I know. I made you choose
I went with 9.
one.
I went with 9.
I asked
I
you to
did a
name
top
one.
5. I'm sorry.
All right, no,
but
that's fine.
I'm
fine.
gonna follow along.
We could go top 5. I'll go. Oh shit.
Just don't take as long as I did.
Yeah.
That's hard. I'm gonna go. I can't do top 5 that quick. That's too hard. Loved Atherton being out there at the 2 p.m. I was out there for that. And he had members of the Friday night crew at CHUO, as well as the bass player from I forget the name. Come on, man, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, Silken Lauman was hilarious. Rolf was awesome on the main stage, even though they were from Detroit that day. And then I loved Farewell Davidson.
They're such a great
they're
band.
so
Yeah,
good.
they are.
Young kids, they're freaking awesome. Get out to see Farewell Davidson.
I wonder who Davidson is.
Oh, he's gone.
It's
He's
the
gone.
street
He's-
that they
he's out.
grew up on,
Really?
Oh, I see.
In Wakefield?
Really, eh?
and it
Interesting.
changed.
He's gone.
Ah.
So those are mine. Ellie?
My
Oh,
top
top
5
5,
for
that's
local. I wish I could have seen more local acts than I actually did. Unfortunately, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I had a pretty packed 2 weeks, so I missed several that I would have liked to see. Having said that, my top 5. Definitely, in no particular order, Ketra Johnson. She sounded great. I saw her in the Barney Dancing Theatre, and I had only seen her once before solo at the Rainbow. So seeing her there with her band was a great experience. She sounded wonderful. Silken Lauman as well. Seen them before. They always put on a good show, so that was fun times. Cold Capital was my first time checking them out, and I have to give them props because they do a great job, and they had a good crowd at the Black Sheep stage, so I'm really happy for them. Tie for number 1. There's 2. Scattered Clouds, one of my favorite local bands. I love their experimental, dark, moody music. It's really something else. Worth checking out next time they're
Do you
playing.
know if they have any upcoming shows coming up?
I do not.
Because I got the single from them when they were leaving. I missed it.
Yeah,
and
people want-
you have it
Yes.
with you right now that you're ready to.
So yeah, definitely check them out next time they're playing,
Okay.
and follow Eventful Capital to know when that's going to be, because obviously that'll be posted. And finally, Mackenzie Rhythm Section. They are amazing. They have so much energy, and so much showmanship. It's ridiculous. So they're definitely a band to check out live. I mean, it's something to listen
What
to on
a great
CD,
night out when you go see them.
but
It is
they're
a
just-
great night to see them.
One of those bands you can't stand still. It's just
Absolutely.
an all-around good time.
And the lead singer, just such an engaging
so
guy
much
with
charisma,
the crowd.
and
So much
yeah,
charisma.
everyone is up and dancing in the Barney Dancing
For
Theater. and it
$5,
took
you
no
can
time.
see him in Ottawa,
Yeah.
and that's a night out. That's
That's a
incredible.
night out.
Love
Yeah.
it. Benjamin, top acts from Ottawa.
I didn't see as many as I could because, like you said, there was conflicts. And
Yeah,
I tried
yeah.
to actually talk to them. But the ones that I did see, I'll go off a little bit off the board. One is Bella Cat.
Bella Cat.
She's new to the scene. She's got this incredible, soulful voice. If you go to the Black Sheep, she works at the Black Sheep, and then she has a show coming up, I think Friday.
Okay.
Just someone to keep an eye on in terms of a blues soul singer.
Bella Camp.
Cat.
Bella Cat.
Bella Cat.
Okay. Wonderful.
I would agree with Ketra Johnson, who's now known as the Heavy Medicine Band.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they call it the Heavy Medicine Band, I
It's
think.
new.
Okay.
And
So-
Get that.
I love her sound.
It's cool to catch her at open mic too at Mugshots Wednesday nights. Like she'll come around there every once in a while and just blow.
I've kind of compared her to PG Harvey
Wow.
in her style. And like,
Nice.
she's got a lot of potential. I think those are the two. Black Denim, of course, always fun.
Black Denim. If I would have been there, would have been my
That
number
was
one.
the,
I'm
that
sure.
was the word. Why do you put Black Denim up against Kale Madsen?
Yeah.
That's just
That's
terrible.
just- yeah.
And
That's
I agree.
just-
And
Bad
Kale's gonna
time.
go somewhere.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a quick 1 second. All right, so that leads us up into other interesting stories. Throughout all of us, I think we're there for a collective, I'd say over 100 hours. Well over 100 hours.
Definitely.
So I want to hear your story, and T.S. about July Talk.
Okay. Well, so July Talk was one of my top bands, but outside of this, like outside of the amazing show, I brought my brother and my cousin. My brother just moved to Ottawa, and we're just like, hey, let's go check out July Talk tonight instead of Bare Naked Ladies. Wanted to have a little more fun, a little more rowdy. Crowd surfed my cousin, who weighs about 135 pounds. The guy's not a big guy. He loves crowd surfing, so nobody was crowd surfing, so they started playing Paper Girl.
That's also like one thing I noticed in Ottawa. Not much crowd
Not
surfing
much.
at this festival.
There was
Unless you're at Ottawa Explosion.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In which case, it's
yeah,
over.
yeah, then that's what we do.
But yeah, so nobody was crowd surfing. Like, screw this. Like, we're doing this. So me and my brother picked up my cousin, and he went to the very front, and I tried to, didn't want the bouncers to get him or whatever. So, but he ended up getting right to the front. They took him down, and then Leia pointed at him partway through Paper Girl, and was like, and she was basically like, get on stage, and I was like, is this happening right now? And so my cousin went on stage. He proceeded to dance up on Leia.
What?
Peter kissed him on the mouth. Leia took off, she made him take off his shirt. He got water poured on him. She stole his hat, which he never got back. And for a good 4 or 5 minutes too, they dragged out the song just for him. The crowd was going wild. He flipped off people jokingly. It wasn't for real. The guy was. It was the most memorable night of his life. So that was a really unexpected happening for Bluesfest. One of my best memories of Bluesfest going forward for sure. So yeah, just anything can happen.
You gotta tell your cousin to start pumping some iron.
I know he could use
135 pounds?
he could use a few more pounds of muscle, that's for sure. But, yeah, but anyway, that's my story.
That's good. As long as he had a good time and they didn't, and I think they can read off that, right? They're not going to purposely embarrass somebody. A lot of other shitty bands would do that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like July Talk would do that. For me, interesting stories. Not many. It's just every year when I have a bunch of people that see a lot of acts and they know to tell me when there's a good act. When they told me about Vintage Trouble, it was my friend who runs the photography saw him the night before, and that's why I love it, because he did the same thing for Joe Robinson last year and did it for this year. And I I really implore people to not just go for those main bands. Go there the whole time.
Explore.
Explore those other stages. I remember, like, there's a Ottawa Bluesfest fan page that this will be posted on, but somebody went out and said, I hate this country music nights, and I hate all that. And I am not a fan of country music. I respect that people enjoy it, but I would never think of saying bad things about it. Never.
Or it wouldn't stop you from going.
No,
either,
it would never stop you. You are going to go to so many other things to discover. So, just
don't be closed-minded. Be open-minded.
No, don't. Yeah, don't be, and don't knock other people's views on music. They're there. Yeah. They get fans for a reason.
Yeah.
So so that always blows me away. And for people like that, I guess don't go. But be open-minded. Go to other stages. Mm-hmm. Any other great stories for you, Ellie?
Great stories. Well, favorite moments, I could say a little bit, or things that surprised me.
Yeah.
I was checking out an electronic producer over on the Black Sheep. I forget who, but at the same time, Don Felder was playing on the River stage. And I figured, I'm going to go catch some of it. So I left the Black Sheep, made it just in time to the river to catch him playing Hotel California.
Oh, sweet.
And that was one of my favorite moments. It was just one of those moments that you just have to be there to experience. But when you're there and you've experienced it, it's just phenomenal. It'll be something I'll remember forever.
That is amazing.
Beautiful. And everyone's singing at the top of their lungs to Hotel California.
When you said that, it reminded me too, just really quickly, of Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Pouring rain, like, soaked to the bone everybody who was up front, because it was raining for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And the clouds parted by the time they came on stage, and by the end there was a rainbow.
Yeah.
Like, the sun was shining through, there was a rainbow, and then the moon, there was like a full moon too, almost. And so, like, Josh Homme was, like, pointing at the moon, and the rainbow was there earlier in their set.
Surreal.
It was surreal. Like, it was exactly like you said. What you said reminded me of that.
It's one of those.
You can't fake that stuff.
I love that. I miss it. That was only a week ago. Damn it. Miss Bluesfest.
And other than that, Action Bronson, maybe 20 minutes into
That's
his
right.
set. The guy's unpredictable. You never know what to expect. He's a rapper that is often compared to Ghostface Killer, for those who don't know, from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Never knew.
He's performed in Ottawa before, but yeah, he's known for just doing random shit. And, excuse my language, he jumped off stage maybe 20 minutes into his set, hijacked a festival golf cart, got people on board from the crowd, and he drove to, like, main stage, whatever. Security was trying to stop him. He wouldn't have it.
He had his mic too, right?
He had his mic. They were filming him. So, that was pretty
70,000 views
funny.
on TMZ.
Do you know who was in the golf cart?
Who was it?
Dale the Funky Home
Dale the
State.
Funky
Home State.
Really?
From Hieroglyphics. That's hilarious.
So those are good, funny stories. I just have one. What did you guys think of Bob Saget? I thought that was the worst part.
Oh.
I hope he was just testing that out. I thought that was absolutely dreadful.
But
it led me to the Black Sheep stage where Sugar Ray and whatever. Blue Tones, but the Texas Horns, they were the MVPs of the entire festival.
They're awesome.
Almost every stage, the Texas Horns were there.
Yeah.
Every time, the gray hair guy would just always appear. So, like, me and some friends that we were watching with always made the running joke, Texas Horns are going to show up at my wedding. Texas Horns are going to show up just across the street.
That Saturday, they played 6 shows.
Come on!
Wow.
6 shows.
Wow. I think that beats
Kaz, Jim, and Al.
That's Juvenile. The Texas Horns were everywhere. They're the MVP of Bluesfest.
Yeah.
How do they know every song?
Because everything in Texas is bigger, man.
Yeah.
Just gotta go big, go home.
There's
That's the
certain
way it
notes,
is.
there's certain rhythms, you know.
Yeah.
Certain rhythms. Texas Horns. Every show we were at, we were going to bring out the Texas... And every show we're going to bring out, everybody by the end would just look at each other. Oh, Texas Horns are coming back.
Yeah.
Here they are. And they just walk so professionally on stage, play, and then leave. So it was
And last year as well, actually.
Really?
They did not as many. Not
as many? Now they're stepping
last
it up.
Year, but yeah, no.
Texas Horns.
They're on the radar.
Texas Horn Fest. All right, Benjamin, you did a lot more interviews with bands. What are some what were some of your most memorable interviews before we wrap up here today?
There's quite a few, so I'll just give snippets. Peter D. Harper, who was there the first day, Thursday, fronts a band called Harper and Midwest Kind. He's actually from Britain, grew up in Australia, now lives in Michigan, and he plays his blues roots with the didgeridoo. we did an interview with him. He brought his didgeridoo. I tried it. I was horrible.
It's hard.
So
It is hard, yeah.
an instrument. He said, "You sound like a trumpet player." And I was like, "Well, I used to actually play a trumpet." So sure enough, we made. I don't know how old she was. She may have been 15 years old. We made this 15-year-old girl's dream come true by meeting Mac DeMarco.
Oh, cool.
Really?
So we have it all on video.
And he's a nice guy. He'll
He's
just
so
walk
He doesn't
around.
do
He's so
anything.
personal,
And
yeah.
we did kind of something bizarre. Hung out with Royal Canoe, both during the day, doing an interview, and then at night, they said, "Ben, you want to come out?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go back." So we went back to Union, had some drinks, celebrated Derek Allard's birthday. He's
Yeah.
one of the drummers. So that was pretty cool. And probably the last day, we chased him down an interview, and we got it.
Which
And
one?
Sam Roberts.
Really?
Cool.
Wonderful.
Found Sam Roberts.
I saw him at House of Targ and on Hardy Crown on
right?
Preston.
Yeah, he was
So he made a couple of stops. Was it Hardy Crown before the
before
show?
the show. Yeah.
And then House of
Watching the
Targ later
game.
on the Sunday, yeah.
Ed Robertson was at House of Target later too. From the
Really?
ladies.
And then did
That's
you chase
cool.
him down at either of those establishments?
No,
or
we
at
got
the-
it backstage, and the unfortunate part was in the interview you could just hear Collective Soul.
Oh yeah.
Even though they're on the other side, and you hear Collective Soul playing, but he was completely oblivious.
He was in the moment.
Oh yeah, and just
Good.
completely engaging, typical Canadian nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a great conversation, and we talked about a lot of different things.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Awesome,
and,
yeah.
and I guess thoughts for next year?
More water stations.
Yes.
More water stations.
We
Okay.
said that
Yeah,
last
there
year.
was-
Yeah, we said
There's
that
only
last
Only
year.
one
two.
stage. Yeah, with two at the main,
They're
the main area.
they're on each side of
Okay.
the washrooms. They
We
should
talked
have
about
one
this
near
last
the
year, too.
river and
Yeah.
Black Sheep, and that
And a
we
Misty
did.
Station.
Bluesfest did not listen last year. Perhaps
I
they will
want
this year.
food. I'd say food on the road.
Food, as far
That's
as
fine.
around. Yeah.
The lack of mini donuts this year was
Yep.
definitely apparent.
Oh, goodness.
For sure.
That's my every
shame.
first night I get my mini donuts. There were none.
There were none.
We would eat it every
No,
night.
there wasn't there.
You would eat it every night.
Every night.
They're amazing. So I'm gonna Folk Fest will have them. If there's not, then that's going to be something to be said for. That's going to be bands I want to see will always be the Mars Volta and Gabriel y Rodrigo.
Yeah, they're great.
That's going to be every year. I'm going to say that every year.
I saw them at Love
Who?
Blues. Rodrigo y Gabriela. They're amazing.
Is it
Oh
Rodrigo
man,
and Gabriel?
Rodrigo. I don't even know. Are we talking bands that we want to come next year?
Anything quickly.
I thought there was a bottleneck the first few days.
They changed it.
Yeah, they did, but it was nuts the first few days. For some reason, people could only get in and out in like one small little area. It was bad news, but it wasn't too bad the rest of the festival. So who knows? It's just the reason because they changed the stage layout.
Yeah.
They couldn't. That was just one of the downsides of it, but yeah.
Yeah. Ellie?
I really liked their little 20-year anniversary exhibition that they put up on panels. I thought that
I
was
did
a
like
nice,
that, yeah.
a nice touch.
Makes you feel older.
Yeah. You go back and look at the years that have gone and reminisce on the good old days that when Bluesfest was smaller and at different locations. The Bluesfest pizza, I think that's a great idea. Once again, for me, that's a top I
Thought of
had.
this
It
year,
goes
that's
to
a hell of a great
Blues in the
pizza.
School.
It's a perfect
Quality
one.
in terms of price quality, it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. You got it. A lot for your buck, and it supports a wonderful music education program. So keep doing that, Gabriel's and Bluesfest. For next year, I like everything and anything. So I'm not. I don't have any particular artists on my wish lists, but again, a nice variety is always appreciated.
Maybe sandwich some of the local acts in between
Yeah,
some of the
yeah.
higher acts, so you draw
Disperse
the
them a
crowd
little
that way.
bit so that we can
Why not?
get more
Why not?
people out for those. And I've always said I wanted to see local natives at Bluesfest, and we are
They were 2 years
we are
ago, right?
wolves.
2 years ago?
No,
Yeah,
I don't think
it
so.
was 2 years
did
ago.
they?
No, never.
I don't think so. No.
Inner Dreams, man.
No, that
Yeah,
was
that's right.
Oshiega. That was
That's right.
Oshiega.
Yeah, different festival.
Benjamin, yours?
I've asked AJ Sobe to give me an interview tent. Other festivals, not all of them, but some of them. My wife and I have done Byron Bay Bluesfest in Australia.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I've been to Byron.
So they have this great.
Have we all been?
I wanted to go
Byron Bay?
to I wanted to go to the Byron
All
Bay
three
Blues
of them,
Fest.
yeah. Same here. Rains every year. It's
I
during
know.
Easter.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So they have a great little sound tent, or interview tent. That's the one thing.